Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby and today I'm gonna be doing a book haul. It has been a couple of months since I've done a book haul. I haven't done one since like the beginning of November. So this is catching you up on all the books that I've hauled and received since the beginning of November, which means this book haul is going to be pretty excessive because in that time we've had Christmas and we've had my birthday and I've just felt so much love. And I've been gifted so many books recently and we have a lot to go through. But before we do jump into the books, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Luisa is a sustainable jewelry company. They make long-lasting pieces crafted with care from the best noble metals. Their jewelry starts at $39 with no luxury markups. And they offset 100% of their carbon emissions. And the fact that Luisa is an eco-friendly, sustainable company is something that's really important to me because it's nice to know that they're considering the environment when they're creating these jewelry pieces, and their packaging is very minimal packaging. It's really awesome. So the jewelry pieces that I selected that I'm pretty excited to tell you about, the first one is this beautiful blue ring, and I didn't even plan for this to match my nails, but it totally does, and that just makes it even more epic. But I've always been a huge fan of these like big jewelry pieces where there's just like a big color on a ring. Like, I don't know, I've never owned any jewelry like this, but I've always been a fan of jewelry that looks like this. I just think it's so stunning and like bold to have one color kind of just stand out on your hand with a ring like this. And blue is also my favorite color, so huge fan of this one. And then I also have this other ring. You know, I'm a huge fan of Luisa's rings. Like, I just really love rings in general, but Luisa's rings are made so nicely. This gold ring is just so beautiful. It has like this really cool rope looking kind of design. It gets really like big at the top of the ring, and then at the bottom it's like really slim, so it just kind of fits around your finger perfectly, and I just love the size of it and I love the look of it. And then this last little necklace that I got here is just this really simplistic, cute necklace that just has this star looking symbol in the middle of it. And this necklace is actually called the Gabby Necklace. It's like G-A-B-I Gabby Necklace. It felt like a match made in heaven, you know? But this one is just really cute. It's really simplistic, and I like that it just kind of goes with anything. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of their very simplistic minimalist jewelry, is that a lot of it will just go with like any outfit you're wearing. Like, you don't even have to try and it makes you look glamorous. But if you do enjoy the more fancy, luxurious items, they do have those too. Like, they have the really bold standout pieces, but they've got something for everyone. And don't forget, Valentine's Day is coming up pretty soon, and jewelry makes a perfect gift for Valentine's Day. So make sure to use the link in my description and get 15% off your order. And thanks so much again to Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Alright, now let's get on to the books because there are quite a bit to go through here. In these last 2 months, I've received a number of books from Book of the Month. 2 books that I actually purchased from Book of the Month recently because they had these available as add-ons and I just couldn't resist, so I ended up ordering extra books from Book of the Month. Is The Push. This is one that I've been pretty interested in. I'm pretty sure this is like a thriller type of story, but ever since purchasing this, I've been seeing some mixed reviews of people like really not liking this, and now I'm nervous. But it just says a tense, page-turning psychological drama about the making and breaking of a family and a woman whose experience of motherhood is nothing at all like what she hoped for and everything she feared. Now I'm hearing a lot of people compare this to Baby Teeth, so I don't know how I feel about that now. And then I also bought Writers and Lovers by Lilly King, which this is a book I just read for a video I just recently did reading Noelle's favorite books. And this one is like a contemporary kind of literary fiction style book that takes place in the 90s, and we follow this woman who her mother has recently passed away, and she's kind of dealing with the grief from that. Some thrillers that I've received from Book of the Month recently include People Like Her by Ellery Lloyd. This is one that I have not started yet, but I'm really interested in this one because it involves like a social media influencer. And then we have The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins, which this one is my book club, the book troop. It's our first pick for the book club that I just started. It's like a thriller book club, and we'll be having a live show on this book on my channel very soon. It's going to be happening on Friday, January 29th. Very excited to discuss this with you. And then we also have The Survivors by Jane Harper, and it's also one that I'm very excited about. I've never read anything by Jane Harper, so I'm really excited to own something by her because she's a pretty well-known and loved thriller author at this point, and I just haven't read any of her books yet. For a romance pick recently, they had The Dating Plan, and this was actually the first book I read in 2021, and it was such a joy because it involves fake fiancés and it takes place in like the San Francisco Bay Area kind of, and it was just a whole lot of fun. And then we have have The Office of Historical Corrections by Daniel Evans, and this one's actually a novella and it's like a collection of short stories. And then we have The Removed by Brandon Hobson, and this is one of my favorite book covers that I've ever seen in my whole life. I think it's so stunning. It talks about the Cherokee folklore. The Removed seamlessly blends the real and the spiritual to excavate the deep reverberations of trauma. And then we have Outlawed by Anna North, and this one is like a feminist western kind of book. It involves these women who are like on the run, I guess, and it's taking place in the year 1894. Sounds like something I wouldn't normally pick up, but I'm actually super intrigued about this. So if you've read it, please let me know your thoughts, because I'm like super interested in reading this. And then these last two are both books that I'm so freaking excited about, and I can't wait to read these. First one is This Close to Okay, and then we have The Prophets. And these books, I feel like I've been putting them off because I know they're going to be freaking so sad and heartbreaking. I do have plans to buddy read this one with my friend coming up here in a few days. But this one follows these two men who are slaves, and they form this like forbidden romance. And I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be so moving and so beautiful, and I just feel like I'm gonna love this a whole lot. And then we have This Close to Okay, which I know this one's gonna be super hard hitting. It's about this life-changing weekend that's shared between these two strangers, and I'm pretty sure it's dealing with one of them, or maybe both of them, were planning on killing themselves. And then it's like this beautiful story about how they maybe found hope in each other again. I don't really know, but I just know this is gonna be really hard hitting, but I can't wait to read this. Look at that cover, it's stunning. One book that I wanted to show you immediately that I'm really excited about is the fact that HarperCollins and Epic Reads sent Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. And if you didn't know anything about what this book is, it takes place in the same universe as The Hate You Give, which is one of my all-time favorite books. And this one is following Star's dad, Maverick, when he was 17 years old, and he finds out that he's going to be a father. And it kind of like shows you more of his young adult life. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I immediately put the audiobook for this on hold at my library because I really want to listen to the audiobook at the same time that I'm reading this. So I think I'm gonna save reading it until I get that audiobook checked out, but I'm so excited for this book. Oh my gosh. And then Atria Books has sent me two books. The first one they sent is Everything is Fine by Vince Granada, and this is a moving memoir about grief, mental illness, and the bonds of a family, because the writer talks about his mother's experience with schizophrenia, and it just sounds like it's gonna be so hard-hitting and so beautiful to read this book. And then they also sent Astrid Sees All. This one is coming out in April, and this is one that I'm really excited about because it takes place in the 1980s in New York, and it's kind of like this contemporary story. I mean, is it really contemporary because it's the 80s? Is that considered historical fiction now? I don't know. Forgot to mention Everything is Fine also goes on sale in April. Gallery Books sent me The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. If you didn't know, Christina Lauren is one of my favorite romance authors. I will literally read anything they put out. And so I'm very excited that this book is in my possession. I had no idea they were sending this, and I'm really stoked. This book comes out in May. On the inside flap, it just says, for readers of The Rosie Project and 1+1, a heartfelt and funny novel about what happens when two people with everything on the line are thrown together by science. Or is it fate? They work in some kind of science field and DNA, and I don't even know. I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's here. Another romance that I'm so fucking excited that I have this in my possession right now. It comes from Berkeley Romance, and that is The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is maybe one of my most anticipated romances of the year, and I don't know why. I'm obsessed with this cover. Okay, first of all, this cover is so freaking cute. I love the pink, and I think this is just gonna be so cute because it takes place in Seattle, which is like also really cool. Love that. It says public radio co-hosts navigate mixed signals in this sparkling romantic comedy debut. Like, what the heck? They're co-hosts on a radio show together, and I'm pretty sure it's like some hate to love. She proposes a show that her boss greenlights with excitement. On The X Talk, two exes will deliver relationship advice live on air. I can't wait to read this. I'm planning on reading this first thing in February. Like, I need this in my life. Penguin Random House is the real MVP because they sent me two books recently. They sent Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline, which I'm very, very excited about because I loved Ready Player 1. I'm kind of sad though because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews now about this one, so I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna enjoy this one too, but also I'm still very excited to read it. And then they also sent A Promised Land by Barack Obama, and this is a book that I read last December, last month, and I really, really enjoyed this. It was so freaking good. It was so informative and educational and just so inspiring. And then St. Martin's Press and Minotaur Books sent Every Last Fear by Alex Finlay. And I'm so freaking excited for this book. This one is a thriller, and this one is actually going to be my book club, the book troop. If you haven't heard, I started a thriller book club. It's going to be the pick for the month of March, so it's super perfect that they said this, even though I'm really tempted to read this right now. So it's been very hard to have self-control and not read this immediately. But I'm very excited to read this in March with you and discuss it with you. And then the publisher Pantheon sent 2 books. They sent The Kingdom by Joe Nesbo, which this is one that I'm actually still super interested in because I know I just recently read a Joe Nesbo and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but this is one that I'm still super interested in, and this book is freaking thick. Oh my god. This one sounds interesting though because it's following 2 brothers who spent their whole lives running from darkness in their past. And I don't know if there is a detective point of view in this one, so automatically that makes me more intrigued in this. And then they also sent Lazarus by Lars Kepler, which I'm very excited to finally have a book from Lars Kepler because Lars Kepler is a husband and wife duo author writer who lives in Sweden, and their books are like so big in Sweden apparently. And so anytime they get published like this in America, I'm always really excited to check them out. The only thing that makes me hesitant about this book is I'm pretty sure this one's following a detective point of view, but it still sounds really cool, looks really cool. I really want to read it. These last books are all books that I was so kindly either gifted or books that I purchased myself. First ones I want to show you, my lovely friends over at Creepy Caffeine actually sent me 2 books, which they're so freaking kind for doing this. Like, I had no idea they were doing this. But in October, I sent them a few thrillers that I thought they would enjoy. I just like mailed them off to them in their P.O. box, and then they sent me something back, which is like so freaking sweet. They sent me The Loop by Jeremy Robert Johnson and Little Lovely Things, which these are both books that I've had on my radar. These are both books that I've been interested in reading, so like how freaking kind. And I'm pretty sure The Loop is kind of like a sci-fi thriller type of book. Yeah, the inside flap says Stranger Things meets World War Z, which like what the heck, sign me up. And this one is a thriller about these 2 girls that go missing, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I'm very excited for these, and I just can't believe, like, thank you so much to Whitney and Danny from Creepy Caffeine. That is so sweet. And for Christmas and for my birthday this year, I've received so many books that I'm like overwhelmed by how generous and sweet this is. My friend Brittany sent me 3 books. She sent me The Haunting of Bryn Wilder, which was so sweet because this was the buddy read for Winterween, so I ended up reading this book this month, and we discussed it on the live show. We did the whole shebang. It was real fun. And then she also sent me A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is so exciting. I did actually end up reading this book this month as well. Really love this one, and this one is a young adult thriller, so I didn't really expect to love this one, but I did. And then she also sent Her Body and Other Parties, and this is one that I'm so freaking excited to read. This one is a collection of short stories, and they're all very like feminist and beautiful. And then the lovely Erin Carey sent me The Deep by Nick Cutter, which holy shit, I'm so excited about this because The Troop is one of my favorite books of all time, and so I'm very excited to get to this one. I want to include this one in a like reading hyped horror books pretty soon here. And then my amazing friend Hani over on Instagram sent The Good Samaritan by John Mars, and this is one that I'm so fucking excited to read. This one is a thriller. It's one of the only John Mars books that I haven't read yet. And then my friend Leanne on Instagram sent Tender is the Flesh and Little Universes. These are both books that I'm so freaking excited to read. This one, Little Universes, is like a young adult contemporary, but I've been told by so many people that they think I'll love this because it has like some beautiful sister-sister relationship in this one. And then Tender is the Flesh is this like horror kind of dystopian novel where I'm pretty sure they're like eating human beings, and it sounds terrifying and I really want to read it. For my birthday, my sister got me The Butterfly Garden and The Stars and the Blackness Between Them, and these again are 2 of my most anticipated books. This one's kind of like a thriller horror novel. I think it follows like this cult where they're like abducting girls, and then The Stars and the Blackness Between Them is just this young adult contemporary that I've heard nothing but good things about and I'm very excited about. And then lastly, we have some books that I've purchased for myself. We have Lisey's Story by Stephen King, which this is one that I just saw on sale really cheap, so I ended up buying it. This is one that I'd like to do for a Stephen King reading vlog pretty soon. Very excited about it. I also have bought these 3 books that I all read this month. I bought The Snowman for that video I just did of reading Noelle's favorites. I also bought The Song of Achilles for that same video, and then I bought The Winter People because I read this during Winterween. And then I also bought The Wrong Family by Taryn Fisher because this is is the February pick for my thriller book club, so very excited to read this one really soon. And then lastly, I bought When You Come Back to Me by Emma Scott because this is the sequel to that other book that I read. I didn't really enjoy the first one, but I'm really excited for this one because it's a male-male romance that follows these two young characters from the first book. That is all for this video. This is so many books that I've hauled recently. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and definitely be sure to go and check out Ana Luisa, especially for their Valentine's Day sale. They've got so many beautiful pieces to choose from, and I think there really is something for everyone. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you've read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts on them. If there's any books you'd really love to see my thoughts on that you'd like me to prioritize reading, also let me know that. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with a new video. Bye. What are we fighting for? Back into this moment.